The turn of the key begins in a Scottish women's prison where my narrator is writing to a man that she hopes will represent her for a crime she says she didn't commit. It all began a few months ago when she answered what seemed like the perfect advertisement for the perfect job with the perfect family. But when she gets the job and takes up the position in an enviable smart house in the Scottish Highlands, she discovers that things are very far from perfect. The children are troubled, the house isn't obeying orders, and as things begin to unravel, events end with the death of a child in her care. But is she really as perfect as she seems? Is she as innocent as she claims? And will she persuade the lawyer to take on her case and prove her innocence? You'll have to read to find out. My books tend to be a whole mishmash of inspiration from all over the place, and The Turn of the Key was no exception. But one thing which definitely fed in quite strongly was a slew of articles that I was reading about the phenomenon of digital abuse, which tends to begin when one partner in a relationship is the tech-savvy one, and they wire up the house with labour-saving devices, cameras, smart speakers, smart light switches. They understand the system, they have the passwords, they know how to work it. And the other partner kind of goes along with it because it makes their life more secure or more convenient. But if the relationship breaks down, what started off as a kind of security measure can become a means of control. And sometimes that can end up in prosecution in the courts. I've always wanted to set a book in Scotland, and in fact, my first crime novel, In a ... Wood, was supposed to be set in the Scottish Highlands. But when I began to write it, I very quickly realised that I knew nothing about Scottish policing. It's a completely different system from the English one. And so I kind of moved the action just over the border to Northumberland, which was the kind of closest I could get in geography, but sort of, with an English policing system. But I always wanted to return to Scotland as a setting. It's where my mum's side of the family is from, and we spent a lot of time there as kids. And the Highlands in particular are so beautiful. They're one of the few areas of true wilderness that's really left in the UK. And The Turn of the Key just seemed like the right book to set there. In many ways, it's a book about the power of technology and the kind of the capacity of human beings to mess with each other. And so I guess as a counterpoint to that kind of sort of digital abuse side of things, I wanted to have something that reminded the reader that however much human beings kind of torment each other, actually at the end of the day, nature is far more powerful and far more scary. And so I guess having the kind of the physical isolation of the house and the kind of majestic beauty of the surroundings, as well as the poison garden which appears in the grounds of Heather House, that was just a little nod to the fact that the natural world is much more majestic and powerful than we will ever be.